like I came up with the idea. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, with you on the day of the year. No, not your birthday, you weirdo, but Monday Night Football on Halloween. Tonight, we'll see the Denver Broncos gallop into that haunted house they call the Hoosier Dome, where 60,000 howling ghouls will be ranting and raving for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, of all the ghosts and goblins that I know personally, none can compare to John Elway in the flesh. You know, Denver quarterback, Stanford graduate, all NFL hunk team. Now, just because he can throw a football the length of a graveyard, all everybody talks about is his arm. But I say, check out those legs. Trick or treat, Johnny. Then there's the dude in the designer glasses, able-bodied Eric Dickerson, running back, Indianapolis Colts. He's only the best in the NFL at gobbling up yardage. He needs touchdowns like a vampire needs blood. You know, I was planning to watch the classic football cheerleaders from hell tonight, but this is much better. The Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts on ABC's Monday Night Football tonight on Halloween.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Nissan, inviting you to test drive the new 240 SX. By United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Braun Electric Shavers. It is through superior design that superior performance can be achieved.
Downtown Indianapolis on a beautiful autumn evening, a city so very proud of their sports involvement, and rightfully so. The Pan Am Games in '87, the Olympic trials this past year, the Indy 500, and they're also equally as proud of their Indianapolis Colts. Sellout crowd in the Hoosier Dome tonight, first time ever for Monday Night Football in Indianapolis. A bizarre crowd, if you will, a little crazed in many ways. They are into tonight. They are into the football game, and they are into the festivities. There are 60,000 masks that have been distributed throughout the stadium. Some familiar faces as you look into the audience. Yes. And, of course, Dan Deerdorf in the end zone, as he should be. And other faces. A wild and hairy night in Indianapolis on Hollywood night. The Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. Hi, everyone. I'm really Pat Summerall.
Well, if that's the case, I'm Brent Musburger here on CBS, and I'm the only guy in this booth without a hardware commercial.
I guess that means I'm John Madden, and I do have a hardware commercial and lots of others.
It is a real wild and zany night here in Indianapolis. They have been preparing for this all week long, and there literally are 60,000 masks spread out through the stadium. And, of course, we have to get serious because while the fans are having a whale of a time here, there are two football teams that are very serious about tonight. That, of course, being the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos, two teams that have struggled through the first half of the football season. They look to improve. And, of course, as we talk about the Indianapolis Colts, you think of their 3-5 record, the defending champions of the AFC Eastern Division. They think they have it together. They think they can go ahead through the rest of the season and perhaps get that wild card, get back into the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos, they win tonight. They're still tied for the AFC West with Seattle, but this is a struggling team defensively. They have a lot of problems. They're ranked 28th and last in the NFL coming into tonight defensively, and then you think of the Indianapolis Colts going against that defense, Al Michaels, and right away up pops the big guy, Eric Dickerson.
Are we really doing this?
I
guess we are.
Back to local.
Yeah, pretty soon. The Colts have to feel pretty good about the way things have gone in the last couple of weeks. This is a team that started out 1-5, and of course, since they finished first in their division last year, their schedule extremely difficult in 1988. But they beat Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago, then they beat San Diego last week. They think they have it together, but as Frank mentioned, they're in the same division as the Buffalo Bills, who have the best record in the league right now. So the Colts are looking for a wild card berth, and tonight is a very pivotal game for Indianapolis. Dickerson against the league's worst rushing defense. Then the Denver Broncos, they come off their worst performance of the season last week against Pittsburgh, but at least they get Elway back tonight.
Yeah, John is back tonight, and while Gary Kubiak was the quarterback last week in their loss to the Steelers, it's certainly unfair to lay that loss at Kubiak's doorstep. Al mentioned the fact that this is the worst defensive team in the league statistically against the run. If they play tonight the way they played last week in Pittsburgh, we may see an NFL record tonight by Eric Dickerson. Something tells me, though, the two-time AFC West champions will play better than that.
And so here we go before a sellout crowd at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, home of the Colts since 1984. And this town turned on, and they have been turned on and have been thinking about this night since the outset of the season as Monday Night Football comes to the Hoosier Dome. Indianapolis, last year's AFC East champions. The Broncos, of course, the AFC champions the last 2 years in a row, hopeful of getting to the Super Bowl the third consecutive time, but a long, long road ahead. Dean Biasucci, as good as there is in the NFL right now as a place kicker, to boot it away. Ken Bell and Ricky Nattiel back to receive for the Denver Broncos. And a momentary delay as they take care of some debris on the football field, and here we go before what we know is going to be a raucous crowd, and they already are completely into it in Indianapolis. Biasucci to Nattiel, and Ricky from the 4-yard line. Looking to turn the corner, does at the 20, and then is run out of bounds at about the 27-yard line, tackled by Freddie Robinson. And so here is Elway. John injuring his knee and his ankle, but it was the ankle that kept him in street clothes last week at Pittsburgh. Back he comes tonight. Only 7 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, so a not too typical Elway type of season. Dorsett and Winder the running backs, Nattiel and Johnson the wideouts, Clarence Kay is the tight end. We'll also see a lot of Mark Jackson at wide receiver, and we'll watch Keith Bishop at left guard with a broken thumb. From the 27-yard line, Tony Dorsett takes it out to the 33. Dorsett has been carrying about 15 to 20 times a game this season, but his average only 3.7 yards per carry. Defensively now for Indianapolis, the 3-man front, Joe Klecko, who was released by the Jets, signed with Indianapolis, prolongs his career here. They love O'Brien, Alston, the rookie linebacker. Young came from Seattle, the veterans Krause and Biquette. Hood and Daniel are the corners. Robinson and Pryor are the safeties, and Dorsett is stopped for no gain. Byron Darby, who sees a lot of action at nose tackle, he alternates with Klecko, makes the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 5 upcoming.
And as Denver moves into the pass situation, we talked with John Elway last night, missed last week with the ankle injury from 2 weeks ago. He says that he can run to his right. He can be fleshed out and move to his right. If he has to go to his left, it's going to be very difficult. That ankle, the injury on the inside, and will make it very difficult for him to go to his left.
3rd down and 5 at the 32-yard line. Elway out of the shotgun for the first time. And incomplete. Intended for Natil and broken up by Willie Tullis, the cornerback. Tullis and the ball getting there together, and the Broncos are forced to kick.
Well, it certainly appears that the kind of week it's been here in Indianapolis with all the festivities has transmitted itself over to the football team. The Colts have taken the field at what I would call a fever pitch, to say the least. Good coverage by Tullis. Look how, not even a stutter step when he read the break by Natil, closes on the football and made a play on what was really a good pass by John Elway.
Horan has trouble with the snap, but is able to get it away. And out of bounds, and they will line it up and mark it out of bounds near the 35-yard line. Credit Horan there. We mentioned Bishop. The hand that's broken is the left hand, not the right. He's normally one of the best snappers in football. The Broncos think he is the best, but that time Horan was able to bail him out.
Keith Bishop, normally a one-handed snapper anyway, doing it predominantly with his right hand. So the Colts at least don't figure that it affects him that much, but with that cast on the left, I can't see how it can't play a part in a snap.
So now Indianapolis and their rookie quarterback, Chris Chandler, from the 31-yard line. 3rd-round draft choice out of Washington, and the top quarterback selected in last spring's draft. Goes right to the air, completes it to Brooks, and Brooks is stopped by the last man, Harden. Only Harden between Brooks and the end zone, and Harden makes the tackle, and a big gainer for the Colts on their first play from scrimmage, 39 yards.
And really a simple turn-in pattern by Billy Brooks, but Mark Haynes, number 36, is going to miss the tackle. Watch Brooks just stop, perfect delivery, and Mark Haynes just doesn't close and make the tackle, Frank.
And as we looked at the defensive unit for the Broncos, 4 men on the line of scrimmage, 4 down linemen. That's not what they usually go with. Of course, Mecklenburg out of the lineup tonight with the broken thumb, gone for about 6 weeks, and they have 4 down linemen once again. This obviously the defense against Eric Dickerson.
And Dickerson's first carry nets him about 6 as he takes it to the 24-yard line. Andre Townsend and Jim Ryan converge on the tackle. Chandler looks over for the signal on a 2nd down call. Chandler picked in the 3rd round. It wasn't a banner season for quarterbacks out of college, so he was the highest selected QB in round 3. Dickerson and Bentley with Brooks and Verdun outside. Beach is the tight end, and the offensive line, a pretty good one. Hinton is back. Donaldson is the center, but Ron Salt has been dealt to Philadelphia. 2nd down and 4 at the 24-yard line. Dickerson, you'll see a lot of this tonight, and especially if it results in that sort of game. Greg Cragen makes the tackle. So Indianapolis, against a porous Denver run defense, can afford to keep it simple and keep it moving. 1st down at the 17.
Basically, Denver is just going with a 4-3 defense. That's new and something they have obviously put in just because of the Dickerson.
Tell you what, they did that last time, Frank. They went with basically a 4-3 defense, like you said, but they only had 2 linebackers in there and 5 defensive backs. And Eric Dickerson went immediately on his cutback to the side of the Denver defense where they didn't have a linebacker.
Now Chandler wants a timeout. So the rookie calls for a timeout with 11:17. The Colts mounting an impressive opening drive with no score in Indianapolis.
For an ice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
From Master Director John Carpenter.
Wake up! They're all about you, all around.
They control what you see.
What do these things want?
They decide what you hear.
We have been lulled into a trance.
Only one man can see the truth.
Take a look.
And only one man can stop them.
Look at them, they're everywhere!
John Carpenter's They Live, rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
This is the first time Wyompe Indians had ever been filmed. They had never seen red hair or anything like a Pathfinder.
Here on the equator, the air conditioner was a big hit. And I'm pretty sure they liked our music.
But you know what? We decided we liked their music even more.
That's the way Denver's going to line up when they line up in that 4-3 with Gilbert and Boyer both in there. Cragen and Townsend would play in a 3-man situation as well.
Simon Fletcher can also get into a down position. If they want to go to 5-man line, they can do that also with Simon Fletcher, the linebacker, as Dan mentioned, only 2 of them. Rick Dennison is in the middle.
And you'll notice in the secondary, Dennis Smith is back. He had been out with a hamstring pull. Back in the lineup. First down, Indianapolis at the Denver 18-yard line. No score, early first quarter. Eric Dickerson's third carry, and again, a good one as he takes it to the 12-yard line. As you might suspect, Dickerson carries the ball about 80% of the time on Indianapolis's running plays coming in tonight. Total, they carried the ball 255 times, and Dickerson 204 of those.
Eric has, I guess, gotten a lot of publicity in the last couple of days, going public with some statements along the lines that I'm the greatest running back that has ever carried the ball. And thing about it, if you examine what he has done, if you look at it on paper, it's tough to refute.
Just stating facts, man.
Second down and 4 as he nears the 10,000-yard mark for his career. Second and 4. And they give it to Dickerson on a delay. Cuts it back to the outside, but this time he's wrapped up. Number 61, Andre Townsend, with the initial hit, and then Simon Fletcher came in to finish him off. So it'll be third down coming up at about the 13-yard line.
Those comments by Dickerson, of course, were on the NBC pregame show yesterday when somebody asked him about Greg Bell, and he really took off on Greg Bell, of course, having a great year with the Rams.
Called him a dwarf.
Well, I was going to be kinder.
Well, McMahon called Flutie America's favorite midget. America's favorite midget had a pretty good day yesterday.
Boy, you said the crowd was going to be raucous tonight. What about us up here?
Just the facts, man. Third down and 4. Inside the 13, and Dickerson breaks the tackle. Touchdown.
The great ones do that.
Well, it's a 3-way trade that has all of the clubs involved very happy right now. Buffalo 8-1. They can't complain. They've got Bennett. Rams doing well. They're 7-2. They've got all the draft picks. And Indianapolis has this man, Eric Dickerson.
And that time, the right tackle, Joel Patton, watching from the right side of your screen, pull and trap, and Dickerson's going to run right into his back. Now, that might knock a normal man down, but somehow Eric maintains his balance, and that is a play designed to go off left tackle that he just routinely takes it off right tackle in for an easy touchdown.
So they soften him up early on the 39-yard pass from Chandler to Brooks, and then it's Dickerson for the rest of the yardage all the way into the end zone as Biasucci's extra point attempt is good, and 5 minutes and 19 seconds into the game, it's 7-0 Colts.
Right into the trap man, bounces off, easy stride into the end zone, and Dan, you sounded an ominous warning at the beginning of the show.
Changing the face of the international delivery business. Because now, UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge. And let's face it, a drachma saved is a drachma earned. UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Attenzione! Tanto per cominciare, sapete che abbiamo più di 10.000 uffici in tutto il mondo?
Learning how to talk fast is one way to save on international calls.
In French, Mr. Duffy.
Ah, bonjour, je viens, comment allez-vous, je voudrais. German, Mr.
Hallo, mir geht es gut. Wie geht es Ihnen? Ich möchte Ihnen gerne eine wichtige Ansagen über das Zeugnis unserer Firma machen. Wir sind über 10.000 Büros in allen Teilen der Welt unterhalten. Wussten Sie zum Beispiel, dass über 10.000 Büros in
Now
allen Teilen
there's a better way to save with U.S. Sprint's International Long Distance Sale. Save as much as 10 to 34% if you call now and switch to Sprint.
Our Colts flashback tonight, back to Super Bowl V. Baltimore against Dallas, game tied 13-13, 5 seconds to play. Jim O'Brien kicks this 32-yard field goal. The Colts win the Super Bowl over the Cowboys 16-13. Nothing like a 24-hour room service here in Indianapolis.
And who says the folks from the Midwest can't get wild?
Yeah, who said that?
Who said that?
Who dat? The Asuchi kicks off, fielded by Kenny Bell at the 7. And he brings it back out to the 30-yard line. Another look now at Dickerson, and as stated, this could be a very ominous note sounded on the Denver defense.
Well, you know, we've seen in the past what great rushing teams can do to the Denver Broncos, especially with big, strong, physical lines. And I think back to the Super Bowl and what the Redskins and Timmy Smith did to the Bronco defense, and they really haven't rectified their problems. They're really not any bigger. They're not any more physical up front. And if they don't do something to corral this guy, I'm not going to speculate this early in the ball game, but he's capable of astronomical numbers.
End around, Ricky Nattiel breaks a tackle in the backfield and turns it into a nice gain, a 9-yard pickup. And he's brought down from behind by Barry Krause, and there's a penalty marker down, the first of the game. This crew headed by referee Jerry Markbright.
Flags came in real late from the far sideline. I would imagine something wrong with the blocking scheme somewhere.
Against Denver, so that will negate the 9-yard pickup. Push him back 10. Meanwhile, Denver, last 36 regular season games on grass, and of course they play on grass at Mile High. 22-3-1.
Number 54, offense, first down.
That's Keith Bishop, and as you saw, 1-9 on artificial turf, and 1-9 is also their all-time road record on Monday Night Football.
Well, you don't usually put a whole lot of stock into that, but I mean, that is an amazing stat.
First and 20 from the 20-yard line. And Elway airs it out for Nattiel, and it is almost intercepted. Knocked down by Chris Good. As the pass hung, Nattiel had gotten behind Good, but Good able to get back and knock it down. It'll be 2nd and 20.
Frank, you and I both looked at each other. When John Elway released that ball, Ricky Nattiel was a good 2 to 3 yards past Chris Good. I mean, he is beaten cleanly. Look at how far he goes by him, and then Good, sensing the ball severely underthrown. I don't know that gave anything to do with John's ankle.
I think it might, coming out. It's his right ankle, and Nattiel was stunned. John Elway's got a cannon. He could throw that ball another 20 yards. He just didn't do it.
You don't normally have to come back for an Elway pass.
2nd and 20. Good protection. Open man over the middle is Nattiel, and he gets about 6. They give him room underneath to roam. It's still 3rd down and 14 at the 26-yard line with 9 minutes to go in the first quarter, and the Colts ahead 7-0.
Here's where the noise factor in the Hoosier Dome is going to come into play with the Denver offense. 3rd and long yardage. They'll go to the shotgun formation, at least they ordinarily would. They have a domed facility in Denver where they practice, and they practice with loudspeakers playing crowd noise all week, getting ready for tonight.
Which were broken last week, so all the players got on the sidelines and chipped in.
3rd and 13. They send 4 receivers out into the pattern, and some miscommunication there with Mark Jackson and Ricky Nattiel both in the same area. And they looked at each other as if what was going on.
Too early to make a judgment, but as you watch John Elway, he really is not driving off that right foot. Now, he can throw that distance easily with his arm. He doesn't come off like he strides into it ordinarily.
It's really difficult to tell which one of those two guys was the intended receiver, but one thing for sure, it's not by design that both of them were within a couple of yards of each other downfield.
Horan having a great year, and the left-footed kicker, this one is a short kick, and it bounces sideways along the 45-yard line and is down there. So Horan averaging 46 yards a kick, and that one is just 28. So Indianapolis has it near midfield. 8:21 to go in the quarter. 7-0 Colts.
When the stars come out to play, babe, a twinkling show, ooh, dinner out of sight. Yeah, the night time is golden light time. Big Dipper at McDonald's. Showtime, it's night tonight.
What do we mean when we say the new Nissan 240 SX is uniquely designed to provide excellent cornering? The Nissan 240 SX. It's a lot of sports car, but you can handle it.
Have you ever wondered what a baggage handler might take on vacation? Well, everyone should take Samsonite's Glutton for Punishment.
This is not the time to learn that all antifreezes aren't the same. What's in your radiator?
What do we do now?
Sunday, what happens when a dirty bum meets the filthy rich? Nick Nolte, Richard Dreyfuss, and Bette Midler are down and out in Beverly Hills.
Everyone but Toto in that shot.
It all happened out here in the Midwest, too, didn't it?
Yep. Halloween in Indianapolis. It's a Halloween start for the Denver defense as Indianapolis rolled to a score on their first possession, and now from the 44, Chandler flushed out of the pocket and then brought down at the 44-yard line. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Freddie Gilbert, number 90, and Walt Boyer, 65, are right there. It'll be second down, 10. Chandler out of Washington, and again, we mentioned not a big year for quarterbacks last season, so Indianapolis figured they had Hogeboom and they had Trudeau, and Hogeboom started the season number 1, then Trudeau moved in, he got hurt, and here he is, a man who was number 3 on their depth chart and now number 1, and has been since the 4th week of the season. Second and 9 at the 45-yard line. That's Matt Bouza in motion, and over the middle, underthrown, intended for Bouza. Low throw, third down 9.
It's about as bad as you could throw it, as a matter of fact. He threw it low, he threw it behind him. He had all the protection in the world. The one thing Chris Chandler does give you is the added capability of being able to move out of that pocket. He's a good runner, a good scrambler. That ball was poorly thrown. Bouza wide open over the middle. Could have got the first down, but Chandler will scramble. You'll have to be watching him all the time.
Third down 9. Colts from the 45. Bentley and Dickerson are the running backs. And Andre Townsend, unless he was drawn off,
pretty quick
will be
start.
the guilty party. Yeah.
Pretty quick start. No, I think that's going to be on Denver all the way. Unless someone had a little twitch that I couldn't see, but Townsend really got off to a fast start.
He's not even complaining either.
No, he was clearly across the line of scrimmage at the snap of the ball.
So Jerry Markbright and his crew discuss it. Joe Collier, the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, a longtime Denver assistant.
Hey, a brilliant one he is, too. He's been doing a lot of things with mirrors over the past 2 or 3 years of a very small team.
Coachman's ball, number 61, defense. Third down.
Good look at Townsend. He'll be the second one up, and he's just guessing on the snap count, and defensive linemen will do that a lot, especially with a young quarterback who fall into a rhythm of using the same snap count all the time.
Now it's the veteran quarterback, Gary Hogeboom, and here's the wishbone. They went to the wishbone last week against San Diego, and they bring it out again tonight, and this time they send Wansley in motion on 3rd down and 4, and Hogeboom has his pass tipped and incomplete, intended for Pat Beach. So last week against San Diego, they lined up in a wishbone late in the game. In fact, scored a touchdown on a pass to Booza out of the wishbone. They've been practicing it all week with Hogeboom and utilize it here early.
And Darrell Royal turned down Willie Nelson and took another look.
Darrell Royal, longtime Texas coach and a man who made the wishbone famous with the Longhorns in the late 60s, early 70s. Ricky Natile to receive, Ron Stark to kick. Halfway through the first quarter. High booming punt. Natile falls for the fair catch. That's just a decoy though, and it takes a good Indianapolis bounce and is down at the 6-yard line. So Denver pin deep. 7:13 to play. First quarter, 7-0 Colts.
Fundamentals, fellas. Straight, simple fundamentals. It's a lesson we learn week after week.
Don't win nothing for practice. Don't win nothing if you don't.
All right, let's have...
After a long day of hard knocks.
That's right.
Yeah. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Bush.
Here, this one don't buck so hard.
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Bernie Kosar is back. Cleveland's star quarterback leads the Browns in a key battle against division rival Houston on ABC's Monday Night Football next week.
A lot of face mask penalties in Indianapolis tonight. Halloween night at the Hoosier Dome. Well, you talk about a monster defense.
Boy, that scared me. We got these fans in with icebreakers. Oh, you guys are so cute down in the truck.
Denver starts at its own 7-yard line in the noisy Hoosier Dome, and Sammy Winder takes it out to the 13-yard line. Funny thing about Winder, here's a guy who's been around his 7th year in the league. He's never averaged 4 yards a carry until now, and part of the reason is a lot of the pressure was taken off with Tony Dorsett coming over from Dallas. He's been the main man, and Winder has been his backup. Even though the two line up together oft times, Winder has about half of Dorsett's carries. There he is through his career, a 3.7 average. Picked up 6 there, 2nd and 4. Give it to Winder again. And he takes the ball out to the 16-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 1.5 yards. Barry Krause and Dwayne Bickett make the tackles.
I guess the Broncos did spend some time watching the tapes of last year's Super Bowl. On 2 consecutive plays now, they've run the old counter gap play, made famous by the Redskins. Once to the left, that time they came back to the right. And I guess Danny's no dummy. If it works for somebody else, there's no reason why it can't work for you.
Hard to find a team without it today.
3rd and 1 from the 16. Orson Mobley is the man in motion. And Elway on a roll finds Pat Kelly. Fumble if he had possession, and Indianapolis has it. And a flag goes down. Pat Kelly, the number 3 tight end, had it, had a first down, coughed it up, and Chris Gould recovers.
Flag was again very late. And I think it's going to be Barry Krause, the inside linebacker, that strips the ball. When Kelly releases and just runs about a 2-yard pattern downfield, Barry Krause comes all the way out from the middle and makes a play. Makes the hit and brings out the ball.
Mark right here.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 88. After the play was over. First down.
That's Clarence Kay, and that'll push the ball all the way to the 10-yard line.
All right, look at Barry Krause, number 55 to the left. Now watch him hustle out here. He's going to hit Kelly from behind, and you know, Kelly never really put that ball away.
You know what he was trying to do, Dan? He was trying to put it into his right arm.
Get it away from Krause. You're exactly right.
And he had the first down. Watch once again. He'll get it in the left arm. Now he tries to switch it back like he should to run with it in the right arm. It's gone.
It is gone, and the hustling Colts make the fumble recovery and more laundry.
On a 1st and goal, the nose of the ball was right at the 10, so they can't get a first down without a touchdown.
False start, number 64, offense. First down.
That's Ben Utt. It pushes the ball back to the 15-yard line. Meanwhile, Kelly was in the game, the rookie out of Syracuse, the number 3 tight end. They had 3 tight ends in on that formation, 3rd and 1. That's his first ever NFL catch, but one he'd like to forget. 1st and goal. Now Chandler back in. Hogeboom has won one play out of the wishbone. Dickerson cuts it back to the outside and steps out of bounds after a gain of 4 at the 11. He's run out of bounds by the cornerback Jeremiah Castile. 5:44 to go. First quarter, 7-0 Colts, who are looking for their 3rd consecutive victory.
How do you defend a running back who just takes the football and really has not only the abilities, but I guess the latitude from his coaching staff to go anywhere he wants to go? There is a play that was clearly designed to the right side of the offensive formation, and Dickerson takes it all the way and breaks containment going outside to the left.
2nd and goal from the 11. They give it to Dickerson. And Dickerson has his 2nd touchdown. Mark Boyer threw the block to spring him. And with 5:39 to go in the corner, if Biasucci kicks it through, it'll be 14-0.
How do you defend him? I don't know. He's a big man. He has great strength. He does not look like he's covering the yardage as quickly as he is. You take an angle on him, you get there a little late, and when you get there late, your arm tackling, he just runs right through it.
Number 55, Rick Dennison, the linebacker, coming out to the inside. No chance to get there. It just looks easier when Dickerson does it because he's so gifted.
14-0 in the 7 prior games in the history of the Colt-Bronco rivalry. The Colts had never scored a first quarter touchdown, and they have 2 here tonight. They lead 14-0, and the Broncos have to think back to last week against Pittsburgh when they were blown out early and never recovered.
Look at this natural hole. The Broncos are going to go upfield and inside. Here's Rick Dennison. His job is to scrape into this hole and make the play on Eric Dickerson. And watch how Dennison, a little slow to read it, and then late in getting there and gets picked off. That is his play all the way. A linebacker is assigned a hole primarily, Frank, and Dennison, for whatever reason, didn't get there.
And they are playing a defense in which Dennison is not familiar. It would be more like a Dallas Cowboy, middle linebacker in the Dallas Cowboy defense, and he is a strong inside linebacker. It's the little moment of hesitancy that was the difference. He had to try the arm tackle and forget it was Dickerson.
And, of course, the loss of Mecklenburg to the Bronco defensive team has thrown them totally into turmoil.
Forced him into the 4-3, and you never really can play something different as well as you play what you do all the time.
Well, the Denver Broncos, unfortunately, not getting off to any better start than they got off last week against Pittsburgh. Keep in mind, how bad were they manhandled by the Steelers last week? They were trailing 24-0 before they got their first down in the ball game. That was late in the 2nd quarter.
And here they're down 14-0 as Biasucci kicks off. He angles it. It's fielded up at the 11-yard line by Jason Johnson, who was activated for tonight's game. He's a wide receiver. He brings it back out to the 28. He is stopped there by Jeff Harrod. So John Elway, who missed last week's game, Kubiak guided them, and then Ken Karcher came in at the end and wound up throwing a touchdown pass. And Elway, down by 14, to lead him from the 27. Now, Cleveland with Kozar healthy. Houston with Moon healthy. Both winning yesterday. Each team a game back of Cincinnati AFC Central. That's the matchup from the Astrodome a week from tonight. Cleveland and Houston on Monday Night Football. 1st and 10, Denver from the 28-yard line, and the whistle stopped the play before the snap.
A whole lot of things wrong with that one. Well, first of all, Joe Klecko was across the line of scrimmage at the snap. I don't know if somebody moved or not, but looks like Big Joe got the
full start. Number 66, offense, 1st down.
Well, that's a sign of a veteran. Jim Juriga, the left tackle, is the guy that moves, and Klecko sees it, and no use waiting. Get across that line of scrimmage, force the penalty, and he did it. Big tackle out of Illinois, Jim Juriga.
1st and 15. 2 punts and a fumble and a 1st and 15, and they're down 14-0. Elway much too high. Intended for Vance Johnson. 2nd and 15. Eugene Daniel with the coverage on the play.
John has struggled all year long, not just tonight when he's coming back from a very severely injured ankle a couple of weeks ago, but coming into tonight. 7 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. Just not a John Elway year. We watched him and we talked to him last night. A 24-0 lead, the Raiders coming back to beat the Broncos, and John, he took full blame for it.
Shotgun and a mocking Elway chant a la Darrell for Strawberry on 2nd and 15. The catch is made by Natil, and Ricky is dropped at the 32-yard line, short of the 1st down by about 5. Barry Krause in on the tackle on one of the 3 amigos, and they're all back together. Natil and Johnson and Mark Jackson, who suffered a broken collarbone earlier this season, healthy again, the former Purdue Boilermaker.
Homecoming of sorts for Jackson. He had to dispense numerous tickets, couldn't get as many as he wanted for family and friends coming to the game tonight here in Indianapolis, and it's a real break for John Elway to finally get these 3 guys back and get the 3 of them healthy, and when he finally does, it's Elway that's not healthy.
3rd down 4, Denver from the 33-yard line. And Elway throws, and he 1st down, and the price is paid by Vance Johnson, hit hard by Willie Tullis. But a 1st down for Denver out at the 41-yard line with 4.5 minutes to go in the quarter.
You know, this is what they should be able to do all night, Denver, if they keep it short, keep it underneath, because this defense of Indianapolis is not any great shakes. They are 25th against the pass coming into tonight. You keep it short, you get your confidence back and get something happening, and I think that probably is what Dan Reeves is thinking about right at the moment. We've got to make something happen here.
They normally do it through the air. Dorsett last night was lamenting the fact, he said, when we fall behind 3-0, we go to the air. Unlike Dallas. They fake to Dorsett. Elway going to the air again, and down he goes in a heap at the 28-yard line. The charge led by O'Brien Alston, a 10th round draft pick out of Maryland.
And Frank told you a little bit earlier about how John Elway confessed to us last night that if he has to go to his left, he's in trouble. Well, this time his pressure comes from the right. If John is going to get away, he's going to have to go left to escape the rush of Alston, and he's not able to do it. And it's not often you'll see John Elway back in the pocket, sense some trouble coming from a certain direction, and just stand there and take the sack.
He'd be gone now.
Yep. Get it.
And he tried to go right even at that point.
Yeah, he knew it's the only way he can go. Right into the rush.
2nd and 21. He steps up and then fires complete, and if it is complete, it's a fumble, and it's picked up and run back to the 23-yard line. A completed pass, and it's Craig Slope who gives Indianapolis the ball after Mark Jackson fumbles.
And I don't believe that's the homecoming that Jackson had in mind. A look at it from the reverse angle. It's going to be coming right at you. John had to scramble a little bit, set himself up well. And there's the catch by Jackson. And wow, another hit by Tullis. This guy has been all over the football tonight. And an easy play for Swope. They're going to take a look at this, I imagine, on instant replay.
He has to get both feet down with possession.
Let's take a look at it from this angle.
Good effort by Elway. We told you he had a tough time moving to the left. He just arms it back to the right. Now, did he have it? He was bobbling it around, but they're going to let it stand.
Craig Swope with the recovery. Ball is at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10 on what's begun as a nightmarish Halloween for the Denver Broncos. At the 22-yard line, Indianapolis on top 14-0. Replay booth said the replay was inconclusive. That's why they did not overrule. Dickerson. He just draws up his own running pattern, doesn't he, at the 18-yard line? It doesn't matter where the blocking is.
Well, they let him do that. That play is designed. They just blow forward, and then he takes about a half a beat, takes a little stutter step, and he goes wherever he wants to go.
Colts, well, look at that.
Already done that tonight.
That's about 8 years worth.
This is a team that has regained their confidence. You could just feel it. The couple of days that we've been here, they feel very strong that they can get back in and perhaps pull a wild card out, even though they're 3-5 coming into tonight.
2nd and 5 from the 18-yard line. Dickerson again. He's already scored twice. And a 1st down at the 11-yard line, and the Denver defense, porous to begin with, last in the league against the run, and minus Mecklenburg, unable to do anything to stop Indianapolis. 2:22 to play in the quarter.
They've been giving up an average of 158 yards rushing, and they have been giving up a lot of big plays. Now, Eric Dickerson has not had a lot of big plays this year, so perhaps we can anticipate some of that coming up.
He had 169 yards last week against San Diego, but no run longer than 14. 1st and 10 at the 12. Dickerson again, and he adds to his league-leading rushing total. Earlier, we showed you the graphic when he gets to the 1,000-yard mark this season, and that would seem to be an easy goal for him, assuming he's not injured. It will be the 6th consecutive year he's done it, and only 2 other guys in the history of the NFL have done that, Franco Harris and Walter Payton.
I don't think anyone's done it the first 6 years of their career, have they?
Nobody in their first 6. Dorsett and he are the only who've done it in their first 5, and Harris and Payton are the only who have ever done it 6 consecutive seasons.
He's done a lot of things no one has ever done. He's going to do a lot more.
2nd down and 7 from the 9. His 4th straight carry is almost his 3rd touchdown. It's 1st and goal at the 1.
Well, this is a physical mismatch up front. It's strictly a case of the Colt offensive line just dominating the front 7 of the Denver Broncos. Eric Dickerson is slashing and running hard, but he is following just a tidal wave of blue jerseys that's blowing everything in a white shirt out of there. Keep in mind, across the front, the Broncos, 265, 260, 260, 225. They're outweighed by 40 pounds a guy up front.
And here comes the wishbone, because here's Hogeboom. Here's the wishbone. With Dickerson as the left halfback. Wansley and Bentley are the other backs. They give it to Dickerson, and his 5th straight carry is his 3rd touchdown of the night.
They could have scored on the neck bone. Just give it to him.
And that equals his career high. In one game, 3 touchdowns, and he has done it in 14 minutes and 44 seconds.
So that'll make good headlines for tomorrow, but they could have got him in there just about any way they wanted to. Watch this line, sir. Dan talked about it a moment ago. It's going to be very close. I think they were probably ready to give it to him.
Ooh, I don't think he was in. Ooh, I don't think he was in. It looked like Eric Dickerson bounced about a foot short of the goal line.
It's almost moot, because even had he not gotten in on 2nd and goal, I would have liked their chances.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that explanation is going to cut it in Denver.
No.
All he has to do is touch that goal line with the ball, as long as he was in the air, and it appeared that that might have been the case.
Biasucci with the extra point.
You know, Al, I want to go back to that point about the mismatch up front. Check out the front wall of the Colts as we look at it again. 295, 290, 288, 286, and 307. There is no way that the Denver Broncos can sit in there for an entire ball game and play hardball with the Colts of Indianapolis.
Dan, didn't we say that about the second quarter of the Super Bowl with the Redskins and the same defensive unit? Let's look again now. Did he get in?
I think he got in.
I think when he comes down, as long as the knee is not touched, if that ball touches the goal line, you got 6 out of it.
Well, I'll be the devil's advocate. I don't think he got in.
I think he got in. I think that the nose of the football just touched the goal line.
Well, what do you know? We're 60 yards away from it.
What do you know? You're sitting here with a 9,000-inch telestrator. Come on.
The fact of the matter is, there's Al.
Who is that?
Oh, who puffed that one up?
They got a picture of your ego.
Oh, now come on. Oh, come on. Oh, man. Come on, Frank. We're out of here.
Elvira's going to do the second quarter.
Right.
They give great color.
Kenny Bell from the goal line. Back out to the 21-yard line. Orlando Lowry. Yeah. That's Mark Spitz on the left there.
That would be scarier. I have to admit, I've never had any of those. I wear those big boxers with flowers on them.
That's not what Debbie said.
Play golf in green pants with alligators on them.
Look at this baby.
Life size.
I don't know if the dome can hold that one. More hot air, huh? It's 1st and 10 from the 21-yard line. Dorsett. Tackled by Thompson. And that's the final play of the first quarter. And a dream quarter for the Indianapolis Colts. Monday Night Football in Indiana for the first time ever. 21-0. Back after this message and a word from your local station.
This is the first time Wyompe Indians had ever been filmed. They had never seen red hair or anything like a Pathfinder.
Here on the equator, the air conditioner was a big hit. And I'm pretty sure they liked our music.
But you know what? We decided we liked their music even more.
What happened when Sony put this color TV and full-featured VCR into this machine? They shrunk. Introducing Sony Video Walkman. It takes video out of your home and into your life.
In the pizza delivery game, the Noid zaps ordinary pizza. But Domino's Pizza's best because they deliver more than all the rest. The Noid just can't beat the best. Domino's Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
This is ABC.
Indiana plants close because of unfair foreign competition. Hoosiers lose their jobs to foreign companies. John Mutz's solution? He actually gave $55 million of our tax money to one Japanese company. That company then gave many of the best jobs to Japanese workers. And guess who the prime contractor is? Right, a Japanese company. John Mutz gives our tax money to Japanese companies. Evan Bayh will put Hoosier businesses first.
The 3rd annual Channel 6 toy test is underway. Watch Wednesday at 5.
ABC's Monday Night Football. Brought to you by Nissan. Inviting you to test drive the new 240 SX.
You know, in a way, you could almost feel this coming, the way Denver played last week against Pittsburgh, and with Dickerson and Indianapolis has it together, and this town going wild, they couldn't have asked for a better first quarter.
And I think one of the things that we have to do,
as the second quarter begins with a fumble,
what a nightmare.
And the second quarter begins the way the first quarter ends, with a fumble by Denver and a recovery by Klecko of the Colts.
The worst fears, I think, of Danny Reeves, Denver Bronco fans, maybe perhaps themselves, are being realized tonight. Pittsburgh mauled him last week. Danny Reeves said, perhaps the worst game I've seen since I've been here. We didn't try, we didn't play.
Perhaps they played it harder than he thought.
The Broncos already turning it over 3 times. Chandler asks for quiet at the 19-yard line. And it's Dickerson who takes it to the 14. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Boyer and Townsend in on the tackle. Of course, the Broncos were on the other side of the Monday night comeback that we saw this year in Denver when they had a 24-0 lead, and that went away as the Raiders wound up winning in overtime.
A lot of questions, I think, are going to be answered tonight by the Denver Broncos as to where this franchise is headed. If they don't reverse this tide of the Colts tonight, if this continues, I think this franchise is in trouble for a while to come.
2nd down and 6 from the 15-yard line. It's Dickerson again, and this time they stop him after a gain of 1. Simon Fletcher, number 73, trips him up along with help from Rick Dennison. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Elway was telling us last night that loss to the Raiders when they blew the 24-0 lead was as tough as the 2 Super Bowl defeats. He said he really wanted to win that game, in particular because Mike Shanahan, his quarterback coach over the past several seasons at Denver, is now, of course, the Raiders head coach. 3rd down, 5 from the 14. Too high for Brooks, off his fingertip.
But he had him. Denver coming in the full blitz had forced the single coverage, and Brooks was wide open. Yeah, working against Jeremiah Castile. That's an easy touchdown if Chandler's able to deliver this ball. Look at Brooks well out in front of Jeremiah Castile. If that's a well-thrown pass, it's a 28-0 ball game.
Now a 32-yard field goal attempt coming for Dean Biasucci. This is an automatic for him. He's made 27 straight, make it 29 straight from 45 in. 31-yard attempt. Officially, as it will be spotted outside the 21-yard line. Clark puts it down. And he splits the uprights.
Does that jump off that foot? He's having a great year. 4 50-yarders already.
24-0.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Tony Eason of the Patriots completes his throwing motion and is immediately contacted by 2 Colts, the second of whom drives Eason to the ground. Now you make the call. Should the Colts be penalized?
Uncle Alex, this store is a lot bigger than your old one.
You betcha.
More parts, bigger inventory. Maybe you should get an IBM PS2.
Huh, what do you want me to do, throw out my old PC?
They'll work together.
And my PC software?
It'll run it and a lot faster.
You're kidding. You know, I could use extra capacity. Maybe I should get a PS2.
Congratulations.
Oh. You didn't.
I did.
The Personal System 2, part of the bigger picture for your growing business from IBM.
What call did you make? Once the throwing motion is completed, defensive players must make every effort to ease up in their pass rush. Since the second defender did not, he is penalized 15 yards for roughing the passer.
Nissan has developed a new high-performance sports car with a modified Z-Car engine, anti-sway bars front and rear, and anti-lock brakes. The cockpit was designed for one 6'2" driver and 4 6'2" passengers. Introducing the new Nissan Maxima, the 4-door sports car.
Our Bronco flashback, 1985, San Diego and Denver tied 24 all in overtime. Bob Thomas tries to win it with a 47-yard field goal for the Chargers, blocked by Dennis Smith, picked up by Louis Wright, who takes it in for a touchdown. Broncos beat the Chargers 30-24. Indianapolis on top 24-0, 13-22 to play in the first half. Bushy. Already a very active night with a field goal and 3 extra points. A yard in, it's Kenny Bell coming out with it. Cuts back the other way and returns it to the 28-yard line. So from there will the Broncos begin this drive. And the average possession start in this game, a significant difference. Denver beginning at its own 23 and Indianapolis at the Denver 35. And of course, in good measure, that has resulted from the 3 turnovers.
That's Mike Ruther at center. He's Bill Bryan's backup, and he was the center in there the last series when Elway and Ruther mishandled the snap.
From the 28-yard line, Elway fires over the middle, and it's dropped by Orson Mobley at the 34-yard line.
Bryan is on the sidelines. Nobody attending him. He appears to be all right, so that's obviously just a change, but it could have affected the exchange between Elway and the center, Ruther.
Well, Ruther and Elway certainly haven't had the experience that this guy, Bill Bryan, and John Elway have had. Ruther, a guy that played in the USFL, played with the St. Louis Cardinals while they were still in St. Louis, and now backing up here in Indianapolis. But tonight, in Denver rather, but here tonight in Indianapolis, having to play.
On 2nd and 10, down goes Elway at the 17-yard line. John Hand, 2 years ago, the #1 pick in the draft out of Alabama. He's shown signs of brilliance in 3 years, but has yet to emerge as the type of star they expected when he was drafted out of Alabama.
And does he go around Jim Juriga, the left tackle, like Juriga is just having his feet in cement? What an outside move that time by John Hand. A guy not quite in the category of a Reggie White or a Bruce Smith. And boy, he gave that guy, Juriga, all he wanted last time around.
3rd and 19 from the shotgun. 4 receivers out into the pattern. Elway on that gimpy ankle, and he can't go anywhere. Craig Swope, who recovered the fumble earlier, gets credit for the sack on the safety blitz.
Got to be the ankle. There is not the mobility tonight with John Elway that we have watched over the years. Could not play at all last week. It's the right ankle, and he drifts off to the right, tries to get outside to the right because he really can't go to the left. Comes back to the left. He just has to take it down himself.
And I think that's a classic situation where we would have seen Elway do some sort of a reverse pivot, a spin out.
Oh, he'd still be running.
Yep, not capable of it tonight.
And they've changed snappers. It's Keith Karts instead of Bishop who does the snapping. Moran's kick is fielded at the 46-yard line by Bill Brooks, and he takes it to the 41. So again, Indianapolis starts with terrific field position. 11:54 to go in the half. 24-0 Indianapolis.
This is the first time Wyompe Indians had ever been filmed. They had never seen red hair or anything like a Pathfinder.
Here on the equator, the air conditioner was a big hit. And I'm pretty sure they liked our music.
But you know what? We decided we liked their music even more.
Some people see shaving as something you do for 3 minutes a day. At Braun, we see it as something you do for a lifetime. And we think you should make the best of it. The Braun Shaver, with its 3 shaving positions. Designed for those who choose to make a virtue out of necessity. Braun, the world's #1 selling foil shaver.
My recipe for impressing Angela? Take her to the fastest fast food restaurant in the world.
Here you go, miss. Pat and melt, right toast, hold the onion, side of slop, extra pickle.
That was
fast.
But...
How? Telepathy. In here, your head's an open book.
I'd also like...
Nice, cold, natural light.
That's incredible.
Now that doesn't take a mind reader. Everybody knows it's a beer with a taste for food.
Yeah, for great taste, it's a natural light from Anheuser-Busch.
So, Angela, what do you think?
Oh, she thinks you
Don't you dare!
Oh, sorry, lucky guy.
night in Indianapolis. A nightmare for Denver and a great night for the Colts as Monday Night Football comes to Indiana for the first time ever. Broncos huddling on the sideline after the last series. They're already down 24-0.
Team meeting or team prayer?
I don't know. Both. Indianapolis at the 41-yard line. And Dickerson's huge night continues. His 4th touchdown.
There could not be a more basic play in football than the Colts just ran and stuffed it down the Denver Broncos' throat.
Just blew them out.
Straight away blocking. Everybody in a white shirt being pushed backwards, and this guy just explodes through it like no one else belongs on the field with him.
You know, again, he's so big and so fast. Even in the secondaries, they came down on him. They take that wrong angle, and they end up trying to get to him with an arm, and you never will get him with an arm.
Biasucci tacks on point number 31. Collier, who watched his defense shredded last week and annihilated tonight. Colts making it look like a scrimmage.
Well, their names are Chris Hinton, Randy Dixon, Ray Donaldson, Ben Utt, and Joel Patton. And look how they just disintegrate the Broncos defensively. And that guy can scoop.
But there again, the bad angles coming down from the secondary. All of a sudden you realize he has kicked in that afterburner, and all you have is a chance to arm tackle him, and you can't do it.
That's the 50th time in his career he has run for over 100 yards. He's already picked up 112, and the game is not even 19 minutes old.
It's the longest run of the season for him also, isn't it?
It ties his longest.
Well, the night's not over.
Yeah, right. It may be for Denver.
It might be determined only by stamina how far he'll go tonight.
There are those that talk, and there are those that talk and then back it up. And he be one of those. This guy can say whatever he wants to say about himself. Eric Dickerson, articulate, and at the same time confident in his own abilities, and this guy can get it done.
He's not arrogant. He just says what he believes, what he feels. They asked him a question, he answered it.
Some pretty good company right there as he eclipses the marks held by Amici and Moore, among others. Most rushing touchdowns in the game, and he's done it with 11:47 to go in the first half. Biasucci kicks off. Taken at the 5-yard line by Jason Johnson. And the just activated Johnson pays the price. Fred Young, the linebacker, and of course Young really made his mark early on with Seattle as a special teamer. And he shows Johnson why.
Well, he went to 2 Pro Bowls as a special team player for Seattle before he started going on a regular basis as an inside linebacker.
And a flag down, Mark Bright.
Illegal block on the return. First down.
Against Denver.
You know, I hate to go through and think about it, but I'm not so sure John Elway should be in this game. He can't do what he does. And he is just not the great quarterback that he is when he can't run around. And he also could hang around back there and get hurt.
And the crowd loves to mock him. And of course, it was John who passed up the chance to sign with the Colts, not when they were in Indianapolis, but in Baltimore. Then the franchise moved. And of course, he cast his lot, and very successfully, with Denver. Dorsett picks up 3, takes it to the 13, and another marker is down, I think, for a face mask on Klecko.
Well, Klecko is just disrupting everything. I don't know if Joe is guessing correctly on the snap count or what, but he's just exploding into the Denver backfield before anyone in a white shirt's able to block him. Once he's in there, look at Mike Ruther just tackling the center, but a good look there how Klecko does get the face mask of Dorsett. But it looked like Ruther was tackling Joe Klecko at the same time.
Personal foul Grabbing the face mask, number 73, defense, first down.
I talked to Joe just before the game, and he said, oh, look. He said, I couldn't help it. But, I mean, you're going to see right here once again. Look at Ruther tackling him from behind. A couple of fouls right there. But Flacco says he's finally coming around. He has much more movement now, and we've seen it tonight. He is very quick.
Broncos just happy to have a first down. And Winder takes it out to the 30-yard line. He picks up 2. It'll be second down, 8. It's almost back to the basics here for Denver. They're down 31-0. They're staying on the ground. They just need to get something, anything established at this point.
That's Gary Kubiak, who played last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was not scintillating there, although it was the Steelers defense that was scintillating. He had 3 interceptions a week ago in that 39-21 loss.
From the 30 on 2nd and 8. With Mobley in motion. Elway, good protection, and he hits Johnson for a first down at the Indianapolis 47-yard line. Vance Johnson cutting across the middle. The tackle made by Eugene Daniels.
Good protection that time by the Denver Bronco offensive line. All the time Elway needed. That pass takes a long time. Vance Johnson taking it way upfield. You see him cross underneath as it's cleared out by Mark Jackson.
First down at the Colts 47-yard line. And Elway going deep for Mark Jackson, and he makes the catch at the 2-yard line. A great catch. The coverage by Chris Good, and Jackson making the catch and staying in bounds at the 2. First and goal.
Well thrown. Great reception and good coverage by Good.
And just an excellent study and concentration here by Mark Jackson. Watch him concentrate on the football. Really good coverage by Good, as Frank said, but look at Jackson continue to move downfield and yet concentrate, keeping his eyes on the ball. I mean, you can't fault anyone here. Excellent throw, excellent route and catch, and really good coverage by Good.
Jackson, of course, has to think where his feet are, both having to come down in bounds, and he concentrates, pulls it in, holds onto it, both feet in bounds.
They are reviewing it. And it showed it clearly, but that's the delay right now. The replay official is George Sladke.
I don't know what they could be looking at other than this replay right here, and it's certainly clear that both feet are down. And there's one, there's the other.
And not bobbling the ball. No, good possession.
Come on, guys. Denver is down by 31 points. Let's not be too tough on them.
But they're still looking at it. Now they confirm the call, we understand. Val Pinchback on the left is the communicator. They just have to communicate it to the field, and then Mark Bright will tell us the play stands.
Got a chance to see Jerry Mark Bright informing everyone that 76 for Denver is in there now as the tight end. That, of course, Ken Lanier.
Well, they're having a problem with the communication equipment, obviously, and that's why Mark Bright is waiting as they go to the backup.
The play stands. First down.
So it'll be first and goal at the 2. 31-0 Indianapolis. 9:58 to go in the half. Winder and Dorsett in the I formation with Dorsett the tailback. Elway fakes it and throws into the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Steve Sewell making the catch, and so Denver goes the length of the field. It's a long way back, but at least the Broncos are on the way back.
And what a throw by John Elway. I mean, that was a pass again where Chris Good was the defender with the coverage, and he was in good position as well. But John just throws this right in there. That's not bad by Good. Look how he's in front of Sewell. That's just a perfect pass.
And a lot of smoke on it. Also 3 good passes by Elway, but perhaps more importantly, good protection for him, because he is not the mobile Elway that we watched in the past with that ankle.
Carlos's extra point is good, so at least the Broncos don't just roll over and die. They go 90 yards. by Elway. 9:54 to go in the half. Indianapolis now leading 31-7.
Oh, give me land, lots of land under sunny skies above. Don't fence me in.
Now UPS delivers to every country in Western Europe, the Pacific Rim, Down Under, and Canada. And because we're so efficient, we can deliver your international parcels and documents for fewer francs, yen, or drachmas than other companies charge.
Don't fence me in.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
At Nissan, we designed the new 240SX based on a thorough understanding of the kind of performance you expect from a sports car. The Nissan 240SX. It's a lot of sports car, but you can handle it.
As long as I've known Tom, I need help, he's there. Sure, I'm glad to see you. Stay with you? Figured you wouldn't mind.
And when the last stray's rounded up, you head for the mountains. Bush. And the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream.
Sure owe you one. How about this in here?
Head for the mountains of Bush beer.
Pac-10 powers clash when the UCLA Bruins battle Oregon. Or in the Big Ten, Minnesota tackles Michigan on ABC's College Football Saturday.
In Indianapolis, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Deerdorf, 31-7 Colts. Broncos just driving for a touchdown. Carlos kicks off, and it bounces at the 3 and then bounces out of bounds. So it'll come back to the 35-yard line, where the Colts take over the euchre seats, as you might suspect, in the nether regions of the Hoosier Dome. Did you get them their tickets, Frank?
What a happy crowd, though.
No, but we know who did.
Yeah, right. We sure do.
My nose is not broken that badly.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot help it. My features are distinctive.
You're right. Larry Zonka.
My nose isn't broken that bad.
At the 35-yard line, the Colts with Chandler. And Dickerson behind him, who's already run for 4 touchdowns. And Eric picks up 5. He's already rushed for 117 yards at this point with 9:39 to play in the first half. Dickerson, if you're thinking about the record, most rushing touchdowns in the game. In 1929, Ernie Nevers with the then Chicago Cardinals rushed for 6. Jim Brown, Cookie Gilchrist each with 5. If you're wondering about Gale Sayers, he did score 6 in a game, but 4 by rushing. 1 on a pass, 1 on a return.
Maybe it bodes well for Denver. We didn't say who it was against by Nevers.
2nd and 5 from the 40. On a draw, it's Dickerson. And he takes it out to the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
Eric Dickerson, he is a different person than he was in L.A. Lives a very quiet life here. Likes to tell you about it. He's the Travelers' Man of the Year for the Indianapolis Colts. First for his activities off the field as well as on. And as I said, he's a much different Eric Dickerson here in Indianapolis. And of course, the Travelers' Man of the Year for the NFL will be announced with the Super Bowl coming up.
And he just hit the 1,000-yard mark with 121 tonight. And out of the wishbone with Hogeboom calling the signals. That's Wansley's first carry of the night. Wansley played in a wishbone offense at Mississippi State. The funny thing about the Colts is they have only 3 running backs on their entire roster. Dickerson, Bentley, and Wansley. And so when they go to the wishbone, you're seeing the whole bench.
And Hogeboom is going to stay in the ball game, so they're going to stay with the wishbone.
He was a kind of a beer quarterback when he was at Central Michigan before going off to the Dallas Cowboys.
From the 41. Boy, it looks crazy to see an NFL team line up in the wishbone. And it's Wansley for a gain of 1. Remember last year during the strike, Bill Walsh brought the wishbone out for San Francisco's replacement team
More
against
of
the Giants.
A joke, though, than anything else. You know, Darryl Royal was telling Ron Myers when they talked this past week, said, look, the shots these quarterbacks are getting now in the NFL anyway from when they drop back to pass, what's the difference? At least they're on balance.
UCLA now number 6 taking on Oregon. Minnesota against Michigan. Check your local listings or college football presentations this coming Saturday. 2nd down and 9 from the 47-yard line, and Hogeboom going deep for Brooks. He makes the catch despite Haynes having position and then runs it in for a touchdown. Underthrown. Haynes was there, still makes the catch, goes in for the score.
When the ball is that underthrown, in many instances, the advantage goes to the receiver because he's more tuned into the football. And if the defender, this time Mark Haynes, if he's not right on the ball, it's really advantage receiver to be able to come back and make a play on it.
Watch Haynes. He'll turn and sprint, take his eye off the ball, and that's when he loses it.
See, he never did see the ball after that point.
And it's too late to get back, and pretty nifty running by Bill Brooks, the most consistent of all of these Colt receivers.
Biasucci for the point after. We still have 7:08 to play in the half. And Indianapolis has already scored 38 points. The franchise record most points in a half by the Colts when they were in Baltimore, 42 and a half in 1956 against the Rams.
Play action didn't mean anything to Mark Haynes. He was man for man all the way, didn't even see the play action. But when he took his eyes off the ball to get into the sprint, to run side by side with Bill Brooks, he lost it. Brooks comes back, gets it easily, but then he makes a pretty nifty move here about the 10-yard line to get it in.
This has to feel awful good to Gary Hogeboom, who really has been relegated to second-team status. And Billy Brooks, rather than just going down, decides to make something happen and stay alive after the catch. And a magical night. I don't know what else you can say.
Not much mystery left, not even for the overs and unders bettors at this point. 38-7. That's more points than the Colts have scored in any complete game this season.
Yeah, one of the mysteries might be just how far Dickerson is going to go tonight. If they indeed let him go, the Colts have another rusher who probably would be a 1,000-yard rusher on any other team in Albert Bentley. So it's just a question of how much they want to turn Dickerson loose tonight. As a running back, if I were a running back, say, oh, let me have this one. You could really run the numbers up.
Biasucci from the 4-yard line. Jason Johnson tackled out at the 32. Stop made there by Jeff Herrod. And the Broncos, who drove 90 yards the last time they had the ball, start from that spot. Eric Dickerson. A king's ransom worth of draft choices going to the Rams, and Cornelius Bennett going to Buffalo, and all 3 teams pretty happy with that transaction right now. The New York City Marathon, the annual great race through the 5 boroughs, coming up this Sunday, 10:30 in the morning Eastern and Pacific, 9:30 Central. The Nissan Indy Challenge Sunday as well at 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific. Elway on a deep drop sets up a screen for Dorsett, and Tony has a first down. He's run out of bounds up at the 46-yard line. Tony Dorsett, talking to him last night, and Dan, you asked him if he was going to play next season. He was pretty definitive.
Yeah, he said he wanted to play 1 more year, and he thinks that he's still in the physical condition to do so, and frankly, so do I. He's not really hidden the fact that he doesn't feel that he's been utilized to his potential here in Denver, and a good example of that is I think he's an excellent receiver out of the backfield. That's only his 12th reception of the football season.
1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. And they give it to Tony D. Fumble at the 47-yard line, and another Colt recovery. Donnell Thompson with the football. 4 turnovers for Reeves's Broncos. John Hand stripped the football.
Hey, when it goes like this, you're having fun out there. Donnell Thompson, all of these Colts are having fun. They'll be in there trying to strip the football, and when you have this kind of a lead, 38-0, you can take a lot of risk. You can take a risk even missing the tackle.
Let's
go in for it.
Let's see if Freddie Young, the linebacker, isn't the guy who puts a shot on Dorsett. Watch Freddie Young here to the right of your screen scrape in. Yeah, see, he puts the shoulder on Tony, and he knocks the ball out. John Hand comes in second, and then Donnell Thompson doesn't really have to do much of anything. He's down on the ground, and the ball comes right to his midsection. But Freddie Young played that perfectly. Scraped off, read the lineman pulling through the hole, and put the shoulder right on the football.
Oh, and we talked about the draft picks and players involved in the Eric Dickerson deal, and there were a whole lot of eyebrows raised when Freddie Young came from Seattle for 2 number-1 draft picks earlier in the year. They are happy here, however, in Indianapolis.
From the 46-yard line, Chandler back in at quarterback, and he throws in a fingertip stretching, reaching catch made by Matt Booza, and the crowd with a Booza chant. Scored a touchdown last week against San Diego.
And Dan Reeves on the far sideline. You can't tell me that somewhere in the back of his mind he's not saying to himself, it's 38-7 and they're running play action pass on first down when they get the ball in our territory. Aggressive play calling by the Colts. Why not?
And just living out frustrations too. They have had a tough season coming into tonight. They've won the last 2, but they feel they're all together once again.
From the 28-yard line, it's Dickerson for a gain of 3 to the 25.
Remember, we saw them in Cleveland. That offensive line was decimated with injuries, the holdout of Ron Salt. And we asked Eric Dickerson that day, you sure you want to go out there tonight?
Yeah, because Chris Hinton, their all-pro left tackle, didn't play. And listen to the hand for Dickerson. Standing O.
A 1,004 yards. The season just passed the halfway mark. Of course, he holds the all-time record. Only he and O.J. Simpson have ever gone over the 2,000 figure. 2nd and 7 from the 25-yard line. Albert Bentley to the 23. Bentley's a real good running back, but when you've got a fellow like Dickerson as your main man in the backfield, you're going to relegate Bentley to a reserve role.
More than that, Al, he's quite a quality guy. He was on his way to what could have been a 1,500-yard season a year ago himself. All of a sudden, just 1 year ago on Halloween night, they made a trade for Eric Dickerson, and all of a sudden, Albert Bentley was relegated to the secondary role, and he gets, well, coming into tonight, only 16 attempts.
Here we go with a wishbone again. Hogeboom in the game. 3rd and 5 from the 23. Looked like Barry Switzer designed the play. Bentley gets stopped after a pickup of 1.
Did you see who was the lead blocker on that play? Eric Dickerson. He came out and really put a good block on Dennis Smith. And Eric Dickerson, a little more than just a ball carrier. I think we'll get a look at it. Look at Dickerson to the left here. He's going to take on Dennis Smith, and really an effective block. Kicks him to the outside, lifts him up, spins him around. Look at this. Get after him, Eric.
What was he running down in SMU? Did they use a lot of wishbone?
I don't think so. Not at that point. They also had
Craig James
in the backfield as part of the Pony Express. Biasucci's 40-yard field goal attempt is no good.
Ooh, he
That's a scoop.
Hooked it into the woods.
The only thing that hasn't gone right tonight.
So he had a long streak going from inside 45. And that's a pretty good time to have it come to a halt when you've got a 31-point lead.
Tough for this guy to be overly upset about Biasucci's miss.
Well, he has to be so happy with the turn of the fortunes for this team. He, of course, led Indianapolis to an AFC East championship a year ago. At the beginning of this season, they had holdouts all over the place. They had injuries. They got off to a terrible start, 1-5, and they still think they can get back in it. Blecko once again.
Joe's really...
he's playing this one for the Jets.
He's anxious. Had a nice talk with Joe before the ball game. And
encroachment foul, number 73, defense.
At least he's enjoying the game. You can see that this guy's heart is still in. He said where he made a mistake was he came back too fast. Came back and played 7 ball games last year, and he really thought that was a mistake, that if he would have had it to do over, he should have laid out. He should have stayed out and gotten his concentration back, got his leg in better shape, and he's playing good football for the Colts now.
First and 5. Elway drops it off underneath. The catch is made by Clarence Kay, and he takes it to the 33-yard line, and a first down.
Again, Elway with a lot of time, and coming into tonight, Indianapolis had not been tough defensively on passers. They were ranked 25th in the league through their 8 games, only 14 sacks. So they have not been pressuring quarterbacks thus far in the year, but they were certainly going at Elway in the first quarter.
Elway to Winder. And Sammy is stopped up at the 38-yard line after a gain of 4. And he does get out of bounds to stop the clock with 3 minutes and 6 seconds to play in the first half. Again, the Colts scoring more points thus far tonight than in any complete game this season. Their previous I-35 against Tampa Bay.
That's Tom Lavatt, the assistant head coach of the Colts. He was one of my offensive line coaches when I played with the Cardinals, and the assistant head coach and the guy responsible for the big guys up front, talking there to his right tackle, Joel Patton. And boy, what an impressive group they've been tonight.
Second down and 5 from the 38-yard line as Elway has time and hits Natil. Natil looking for the sideline, and he can't get out of bounds. He does get the first down. He's dragged down by the rookie out of Maryland, O'Brien Alston, but the clock keeps running. 2:50 to play in the half.
Again, the Colts just seemingly confident with their zone defense. They bring 3 men, no pressure on Elway. Get the full zone, dropping back, and they'll give up the short yardage. And this kind of lead, you can give up a lot of things underneath.
From the 45-yard line, first and 10. 2.5 minutes to go in the half. 38-7 Colts. Elway under pressure and throws it out of bounds. O'Brien Alston put the pressure on that time. You know, one reason the Colts didn't get conservative, Dan, in terms of their play calling and felt they needed more points. I'm sure Ron Meyer thinks back a couple of weeks ago. They led Tampa Bay 35-10. They had that one wrapped up, and the next thing you know, Testaverde threw for 3 touchdowns. That game wound up 35-31.
Oh, no, don't misunderstand me. That was not criticism of the Colts for their play calling. In this league, you don't ever stop pouring it on. My point was, if you're Dan Reeves and you're looking at that scoreboard and you're standing over on that far sideline, you can hardly believe that they're still coming at you in waves like that. There's no mercy in this league.
No mercy for Elway. The mocking chant of Elway, who steps up and runs for the first down and more, and then slides at the 36-yard line. And Elway, gimpy ankle and all, taking off and picking up the first down. They spot the ball at the 35-yard line, and that's going to take us right up to the 2-minute warning.
You have to admire the effort by Elway, though. Down by 31, a courageous effort.
Broncos have their full complements of timeouts remaining. 38-7. That's
First is $3.42 will take me.
Northwest has some of the lowest fares around, but not that low.
Don't take chances with your brake repairs.
Megan, watch your step.
Trust your brakes to Midas, where the work is done by trained experts. And your brake shoes and pads are guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
AFC Central Division rivals meet when the Cleveland Browns head to Houston to take on the Oilers. Next week on ABC's Monday Night Football. It's the only way to kick off your week.
2 minutes to play in the half. 38-7 Indianapolis. Denver's ball at the Colts 35-yard line. First and 10. All 3 timeouts left for the Broncos. Elway out of the shotgun. And Sewell in traffic off his fingertips and incomplete. Second down. Well, we saw Elway run for 20 a moment ago and pick up a first down. And yesterday, about as spectacular a quarterback gallop as you'll see, especially under the circumstances. San Francisco trailing late in the game, and this incredible run by Steve Young with Joe Montana on the bench in street clothes with the twisted back, and it was Young who took over, took it all the way in, and the 49ers with a very big victory.
He got some great blocks on that run also.
Second down and 10 at the 35-yard line. Colts jump off. Flag is down. Could be a free play. Elway going for Johnson, and it's picked off in the end zone, but you've got a penalty marker down. Chris Good.
We've also got
interception.
I think we've got two flags. One was an offsides against Baltimore, but now we've got a little fight going on back at the line of scrimmage, and a late flag, with Indianapolis, and a late flag thrown up at the line of scrimmage. I don't know if we're going to have a personal foul or whatever.
Ezra Johnson was the man who jumped offside initially. Jerry Markwright, the referee. Head linesman is Terry Gerke.
I was wondering which one of us would be the first to do a Baltimore.
I'll confess to it.
Double D. I've done a lot of Oaklands.
When you start rolling, the subconscious takes over sometimes.
Frank, you could have called them the Dallas Texans or the Boston Yanks. They go
We have two defensive fouls on the play. Offside number 90, defense penalty declined. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness against the passer, number 99 defense. First down.
Yeah, Donnell Thompson is going to hit John Elway from behind after he releases the ball. And keep in mind this year, the one-step rule is in effect. You can't take more than one step and hit the quarterback. And you see the hat right in the small of the back. And that's a good call. You can't hit a guy in the back with the top of your helmet. That's going to draw a flag every time. It wasn't so much the steps. I would agree with that it's the way he hit him in the small of the back with the crown of his helmet. That's going to draw the flag.
Out of the shotgun on 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Elway, Johnson, nice move to the outside. And he's tackled at the 9. He picks up a first down. He's tackled by O'Brien Alston. And Denver now stops the clock. They take their first timeout. And it comes with 1 minute and 33 seconds to play in the first half as Elway goes to the sidelines.
You see the zone as it develops. And then the coverage. And Johnson trying to get to the outside. Former tailback at the University of Arizona. Good running back. And kind of wonder what's going to happen at halftime. You know, Danny Reeves was so upset last week after the 39-21 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know what would a coach say to a team other than let's go back to the basics. I don't care what you do, how much we lose this by. We're going to go back. All I want to see you do is give me 100% effort. And they've been kind of warned if they don't. And Dan's reaction to this past week, that there might be some dire things happening.
Well, Elway back after being injured last week and coming up at halftime on that subject. Jim McMahon live in Chicago. And Jim has a physical price to pay. A feature on that, on the injury situation and the McMahon update. And we'll get the latest from Jim as to when he figures to be back in the Chicago lineup after being hurt yesterday at Foxborough. First and goal, Denver at the 9-yard line with Natil in motion. A lot of movement, but no flags, and Dorsett takes the ball to the 2-yard line. Yes, there was a flag. A flag at the 10. So again, Mark Wright to sort it out.
It may have been Indianapolis offsides again. Looked like somebody was in the neutral zone from the Colts. Was he drawn or not? One thing about Indianapolis and Joe Klecko and the way they've got these tackles playing, they're not afraid to crowd the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately, tonight they're just being a little sloppy in doing it. When you play that close to the football, it only takes a twitch to move part of your body into the neutral zone, and thus the flag.
And Joe, of course, playing right on the nose. He's right on top of it.
Number 78, defense, still first down.
It's John Hand who's offside. It's still a first down. It's 1st and goal. As they'll move the ball half the distance to the goal line with 1:27 to play. Every team that's lost the Super Bowl has reached the playoffs the next season since Baltimore in '69. Denver, of course, is in that position, losing the last two, in fact. A loss tonight, they'd be 4-5. And the way things look in that AFC West, to get to the playoffs, you're simply going to have to win the division. A wild card does not figure to come out of the AFC West. Seattle would have the lead by a game. Duel in motion on 1st and goal. Elway has it batted away, intended for Clarence Kay, and it was Fred Young getting the hand up to knock it away. 2nd and goal.
Excellent anticipation by Fred Young. Hung in his zone, didn't overcommit, come up to the line of scrimmage to try to force John Elway. Stayed back there hoping to make a play on the ball, and that's exactly what he did. Good look at him right there at the bottom of your screen, going to his left and then being able to stop, react, come back to his right and get up in the air and get a finger on the football. Good play that time. Number 56, Fred Young. 2 number 1s, you better make plays like that. That's a lot to give up for an inside linebacker.
89 and 90. 2nd and goal. Sammy Winder goes nowhere. Number 55, Barry Krause, 10th year in the league, wraps him up. We talked about Krause in Cleveland as Elway takes a timeout. Krause had never played in a Monday night game. He has spent his entire career with the Colts, and he finally got the primetime exposure about a month ago and more tonight.
And Barry has been vocal, talking before about what a treat it was to move from Baltimore to Indianapolis, to the newfound enthusiasm that the folks here in Indianapolis have shown since the Colts got here in 1984. And boy, he played a lot of years when it was down, and you have to feel for a guy, Frank, that hangs around the league that long, finally wins a division last year, and then again looks like they're on a roll again this year. And Barry Krause has the most memorable moment in this game.
Well, I have to go back to probably winning the championship last year when we, it was probably the highlight of my career, but finally we were champions. Finally we were winners, and when we did it, we won it in the Hoosier Dome. The fans stayed around after the game and still cheered and cheered, and it was great. It was just probably my greatest moment.
Now play back in on 3rd down and goal from the 5, and Elway has it tipped away, intended for Vance Johnson. Mike Pryor covering, and it will be 4th down and goal. And with 1:04 and you're down by 31.
You could see Dan there signal to go ahead and take another timeout. They'll talk this over.
They might as well. You're not saving it for anything.
Yeah, you're not going to go for a field goal here. 38-7.
I don't think there'd be any doubt in Dan's mind, if Elway were perhaps a little more mobile, that he would come with some kind of a rollout to give Elway an option to either put it in the end zone or run it in himself. But you just don't know, because although Elway is not limping, we do know, because he told us so, it's very difficult for him to move to the left. And when he scrambles, he goes right and left and right. So that's kind of amazing. Came up 1965 as a quarterback, and they turned him into an all-purpose halfback, did the Dallas Cowboys. Stayed around there some 15 years as a player and a coach.
And that only losing season he had is, well, Gary Kubiak's going to come in to hold. They are going to go for a field goal.
Carlos is in there also.
Yeah. Well, you figure it out. 38-7 is the score.
Cut it to a 28-point lead.
Yeah, there'll only be 4 touchdowns down.
Yeah, right.
Well, sooner or later, when you're down by 31, you will need a field goal.
Forget about a fake, because the Colts have got to be thinking that also.
And they're going to let the clock run down.
Well, they're on the hash mark, and a 5-yard penalty would actually be beneficial to Carlos. But the Colts don't have to take it.
I think that's what Jerry Markbright is going to explain right now to Indianapolis, that this is a penalty that they don't have to take. And they're going to be smart and go ahead and decline it. It really is an advantage to the kicker to be a little bit further back. You have a little better angle. It's not quite so severe an angle.
Offense.
Well, initially they said we'll decline it, but in fact they have accepted it. They've now moved the ball back to the 10, so they give Carlos the better angle.
That's about the only thing wrong Indianapolis has done this half.
Yeah. 27-yard attempt. Kubiak to spot the ball at the 17-yard line. And the kick is just good. And in fact, that 5 yards may have made the difference. So Rich Carlos just does make the field goal with exactly a minute to play in the half. And that makes it 38-10.
This will give us an indication as to how close it was.
Could not have been a whole lot closer.
As a matter of fact, it looks like the ball went over the upright. It looks like if it would have gone inside, it would have hit it. Good thing he got some elevation on that ball, or it might have hit the upright and bounced back out. And I would not have wanted to be Rich Carlos and walk over to the sidelines and have to face Dan Reeves if he misses that field goal. I don't think I'd want to face Dan Reeves at halftime, whomever I was.
It's been a terrible week for Dan as well. We saw him yesterday. He preceded the team in here. In fact, his father is ill in Georgia, and he left Denver early to spend a day with his dad, who's ailing, and we wish him well on his road to recovery. So Dan came in ahead of the team, and this nightmare first half for Denver.
Very close family. Ed Reeves suffered a stroke and now recovering down in Albany, Georgia.
Onside.
Spend time with him.
Instead, they kick it to the 5-yard line. It's taken there by Albert Bentley. And Bentley has a path, and Carlos is the man who trips him up as he takes it out to the 44-yard line. Carlos making the tackle.
That's the problem when you line everyone up to one side of the field, giving it that onside kick look. And then if the return man makes a move to the other side of the field, as Bentley did that time, where's your coverage team? They're all on one half of the field, and the guy running the football happens to choose the other.
Just came within that much of being 6 points.
I'm wondering if they didn't miss a signal there because they lined up as if it was going to be an onside kick, and you saw Carlos shaking his head as he went to the bench.
Well, Carlos saves a touchdown. The only guy who had any shot at it was Randy Robbins, number 48. He might have been able to catch Bentley.
Now the Colts have 2 timeouts remaining in the half if they want to utilize those from the 45-yard line. They're not content to sit on the lead. They're going for more. Booza makes the catch, and that's a first down at the 40-yard line. Booza is the chant of the crowd with 41 seconds to play in the half.
Keep in mind, Indianapolis is doing something else here. This is the maturation of Chandler, the quarterback, as well. This is valuable experience for him. Only a rookie.
And they've got Biasucci, remember, who's as good as they come to kick field goals. So they're almost within range. Chandler for Verdun. Touchdown.
The speed man.
Clarence Verdun, his first catch of the night. He beats Jeremiah Castile. And the Colts have just established a franchise record for most points in a half.
He didn't just beat him, he just obliterated him. Blew right by him, and what a strong arm displayed by Chandler. Dead in stride, some 55 yards in the air.
Castile here locked up on man coverage all the way, and Clarence Verdun, the fastest of the Colt wide receivers. A simple fly pattern, nothing more than dependent upon a good pass from your quarterback, and Chris Chandler delivered that time, and I don't know quite how to describe what we're witnessing here. With this extra point, this would be 55 points in the first half.
45 of them for Indianapolis. That makes it 45-10.
That's the problem.
Great protection for Chandler. And Verdun, again, we talked about it, the speed on the outside. Just a straight fly pattern. And Jeremiah Castile does not stay with him.
This is kind of like the way you draw it up with the X's and the O's, except the X's don't move. They just stay in one spot, and the O's do exactly what they're supposed to do. right off the chalkboard for Indianapolis. An incredible first half.
Well, we'll have an entire second half to diagnose the Denver Broncos and where they go from here.
We are going to be busy diagnosing.
But they have major defensive problems. Now, again, this guy, Joe Collier, is their defensive coordinator. He doesn't have Carl Mecklenburg at his disposal tonight. But still, I think over the last couple of years, Denver's weaknesses defensively have really been exploited by other people. And they start with not being big enough and physical enough.
I have to say that finishing as high as Denver has for the past 4 years, drafting as low as they have not been able to get that big man. They have not been able to get the great outstanding players because they've been drafting way down there. 26, 27, 27 is tough.
We're flirting with offensive greatness here in the first half.
I'll just be curious to see what they do with Dickerson in the second half.
That 83 Green Bay, was that a Monday night game?
Yes, it was, against the Redskins.
That's right. I remember that.
Kenny Bell from the 7-yard line. Three flags make it 4.
All the flags.
After the 38-yard line, tackled by Steve Bryan.
And I think you see the frustration starting to surface on Dan Reeves. I think he's trying to say that one of the Colts turned his back, and that's why.
Illegal block. Number 95 on the return. First down.
See, a lot of times a coverage player can turn his back when he senses a block coming, and that way he can draw the foul. The flag that time is thrown on Steve Bryan. Let's see if we can take a look at it. Right there at the bottom of your screen. See number 95, Steve Bryan.
Against John Holt, I believe, Dan.
That's number 21, John Holt, that he gets buried. Clearly a good call. Whether or not Holt turned his back and drew the block is relatively inconsequential.
Dorsett out to the 35-yard line, and that's the end of a dream first half for Indianapolis. A complete treat for the Colts and a bad trick for Denver on Halloween night at the Hoosier Dome. At halftime, 45-10 Indianapolis will return to the Hoosier Dome after this message from the National Football League and a word from your local station.
For all the glory we see each and every week, there is often a painful price that is paid, sometimes for a lifetime. That story coming up.
Okay, now, when he snaps the ball to the I've worked with a lot of little people here at the United Way Agency.
But we don't want to tackle
Like all volunteers here, I work without pay.
All your signals.
To help children learn. For some, it's learning to overcome handicaps.
All right, let's go!
Like Ben Drexler.
Did you see that play, Ben?
His parents were told he would never walk.
But one of these days, my friend, you're going to be out there playing just like everybody else.
What do you think?
Okay.
Okay, kiddo. He's 10 years old now, and after a lot of operations and therapy here at the center, Ben's walking. Someday, he wants to be able to help others. That's why Ben and his dad are my special guests at this NFL game. I'm Jerry Markbright, NFL referee, working with the greatest athletes in the NFL. But none of them has more courage or desire to make it in life than Ben. And that's why I support the work of the United Way, because it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Across America, the vote and the voters. Tomorrow from Texas and the candidates' positions in the drug war.
And back in New York, how the races run at the National Horse Show on Good Morning America.
Range 5,000 in closing.
All hands break for depth charge on the double.
Right full rudder.
The greatest event in television history. Herman Woukes, War and Remembrance, starting Sunday, November 13th.
Congressman Phil Sharp knows that drugs are among the most serious problems faced by America today.
That's why Phil has voted in Congress for tough new penalties to put drug dealers behind bars. And why this year alone, Phil helped bring almost $3 million to Central Indiana to fight drug abuse, such as programs to provide better drug education in our schools and funds to help Indiana police crack down on pushers. For our war on drugs, Congressman Phil Sharp, effective for Indiana.
At the St. Petersburg Times, press operators had to wait while pages were sent by hand from an office miles away. But then, with the help of GTE, they came up with a way to send those pages over fiber optic phone lines, saving precious time and money. You see, at GTE, it's not just communications we offer, it's solutions. Call us. We deliver.
Beat the Broncos! Yeah!
ABC's Monday Night Football. Brought to you by Tots Champagne. Experience Tots tonight.
Well, if you got here late, it's not a trick by Indianapolis and not a treat for Denver on Halloween night here in Indianapolis. That is true. The Colts over the Denver Broncos, 45-10. They are blowing them away. Frank Gifford along with Lynn Swan. And we've talked so much about the injuries to quarterbacks throughout the season, and there have been so many of them hurt. And, of course, we always talk about injuries. Lynn, I think maybe people sometimes wonder why people continue to play this game. Year in and year out, surgery, they keep coming back to it.
I think that's a question we're going to try and answer a little bit. You're right, quarterbacks continue to get hurt. Jim McMahon got hurt, and we're going to talk to him a little bit later on. Also, Joe Montana hurt his back last Monday night game, aggravated the back, did not start, chewed up the game. He watched it. The injuries are part of the game. You can't get around it. But directly related to the injuries, there have been improvements in the medical techniques in orthopedic surgery and rehabilitative and preventive programs. Just because of those advances, it poses another question for those players who get hurt, can come back and play this game. They literally are mortgaging their future, and maybe they should sit down and think about what they're doing and a little bit of Shakespeare. In other words, to be or not to be, that is the question. Jim Otto played 15 years with the Oakland Raiders, appearing in 210 consecutive games. A Hall of Famer, he was the cornerstone of their offensive line. Hall of Fame and championship rings, a pool, a comfortable house are some of the tangible evidence of a successful career. The physical evidence are the scarred knees that limit his life each day.
Well, let's just say this, I can walk, and that's about all I can do.
The painful steps, a reminder of 18 operations and the price he paid to be on the field. Why did Otto continue year after year?
I look back at why I did this. A lot of it was for the love of the game, but it was also for recognition. I was a little kid from a small town in northern Wisconsin, and no one knew who I was. And we all want to be recognized. We all have goals, and my goal was to be a great football player and be recognized as such.
It's taken us a while to get used to him, the way he runs his deep routes. He's got so much speed.
He's working hard, and he's good hands. He doesn't miss the ball. Made some great catches today. And as long as we have that threat along with Herschel Walker, you know, we're going to move the ball pretty well.
Recognition came quickly for Mike Sherrard. Drafted #1 from UCLA in 1986, his future promised stardom. The promise was broken when Mike broke his leg in training camp in 1987. 2 surgeries followed, placing screws in the plate over the break and then removing them. In March of this year, running on the beach, Mike broke his leg once again.
After my first break, I thought, okay, I'll be out one season. It's not going to be that tough. It's a challenge, but it's not that big of a challenge. The second time, you know, I just thought, geez, you know, when's this ever going to quit? When's my bad luck going to end?
Rehabilitation can be a slow and sometimes painful process. It also allows one time to think and reevaluate priorities.
I want to get back into it, but if it winds up that I find it's going to be too risky to play, you know, I'm not going to play. You know, my goals in life are to have a long, healthy life, and I don't want to live life limping and going through all that. I think that's more important than having an ego saying, I know I'm better than him, I need to be out there, I need to make X amount of dollars, I need to be in the Pro Bowl, I need to do this, I need to do that. You know, hey, I need to live a long life without any injuries.
Protective knee braces have become a part of all-pro tackle Joe Klecko's armor. Klecko has made the Pro Bowl playing 3 different positions on the defensive line. A proud man, Klecko was released by the Jets and signed with the Indianapolis Colts as a free agent. He has suffered several knee injuries, serious enough to be carried off on a stretcher. And after 12 great years, why does Klecko chance going on?
I don't want to leave the game unless I'm known for a certain thing. And at this point, it would be known as I went out, you know, as a knee injury retired me or being hurt. Many times doctors have said that to me about when you're 50 years old, you're not going to be walking, or you won't be able to walk correctly. I guess I am maybe a little bit more hard-headed of it, or tougher on myself about it because of the pain and the anguish that you go through wanting to do and wanting to be still. To me, that is what drives me, I guess. I can't be licked.
You've seen a sampling of 3 players playing at different times and why they still come back and play the game. Many of you will ask, well, the money has to be a factor too, but in most cases it isn't. For instance, you all know about Joe Montana, the back surgery coming back. The doctor said I wouldn't recommend it for anybody, let alone the football player, to try it again. He came back. This afternoon I talked to Jerry Walker, their public relations director, who relayed the questions to Joe Montana and asked him why he did come back and play. He said it wasn't for the money, he simply wanted to play more football. This game is very addictive. You go out here and you play in front of 60,000 people, you have success, you become a hero. It is hard to give this game up. And I think that's the reason why most players, given the chance and the question, choose to continue and go on and play this game. When we come back, we'll have a live interview with Jim McMahon from Chicago. He hurt his knee yesterday. We don't know how long he'll be back or be out. We'll find out.
Michael Dukakis keeps attacking George Bush by saying that he's lying. Here's the truth Michael Dukakis doesn't want you to see. After 8 years of Reagan-Bush leadership, unemployment is down. Inflation is down. Interest rates are down. Tax rates are down. And family income is up. Why would we want to go back to the tax and spend policies of 8 years ago? America can't afford that risk.
Listen to the taste. Listen to the taste. Listen to it. Great taste. Can't you hear a salad from McDonald's? Tossed fresh all day. Tossed fresh all day at my place. Good time. Listen to the great taste of McDonald's. Listen to it. Listen to it. Listen to it.
Still another quarterback yesterday, Jim McMahon. Mike Adamle is with Jim McMahon in his Northbrook suburban home just outside of Chicago. Mike, take it away.
Well, Frank, in yesterday's 30-7 loss to the Patriots in Foxborough, Massachusetts, Jim McMahon went down to a knee injury in the second quarter. There were fears last night that perhaps Jim would be lost for the entire season. I'm with Jim right now, and there is good news today. Jim, you saw Bears team physician Clarence Fossier. They scanned the right knee, and what was the prognosis?
Well, they were worried about some torn cartilage along with the stretched ligaments, but as it turned out, there is no tears in the cartilage. Everything else is pretty much intact. The ligament is definitely stretched to the point where I'm going to be out probably at least 4 to 6 weeks, and hopefully I'll be around towards the end of the season. We have footage of the play in which you were injured. Perhaps you can take us through it. Well, what happened, you know, I just tried to step up in the pocket and get rid of the football, and somebody came down on my right knee, and once he did come down on it, he didn't let it go. Actually, he grabbed my leg and twisted a little bit more towards the end of the play. And I think Coach Ditka is sending that film into the league, and we'll see what's going to happen with it. You think that's warranted on Mike Ditka's part? Well, I didn't see the film today. I was at the doctor's office, but you know, they said it was pretty blatant. So you know, we'll find out what happens. Jim, you saw the feature with Joe Klecko and several other players about pain. Have you, with all the injuries that you have suffered and all the comebacks that you have made during your career, have you ever given any thought seriously to perhaps retiring? No, not really. I think back in '84 when my kidney was, I had my kidney lacerated, a doctor came in on a Tuesday night and was going to give me a transfusion. They were going to take my kidney out, and I would have been through in '84. But somehow it stopped bleeding, and it eventually healed, and I never did doubt that I would come back and play football. I love playing the game. You know, I could have retired then and been a wealthy man with insurance, but I enjoy playing, and I can understand these guys' points, but I think why all of us play is I don't think it is the money. I think we love playing the game, and we love being around the people that we're around every day. I think that's the thing everybody misses is the nuts that you hang around with for 10 or 12 years. And I mean, these guys are fabulous, and I enjoy being around them.
Okay, Jim, I know that the Bears are happy to have you back before the season's over. Frank, I know you would like to wish Jim McMahon well, but perhaps it's fitting on this Halloween evening to wish Jim a little bad luck. He said that last night, maybe with all the injuries that have happened, bad luck is the way to go as opposed to good luck. That's our story here from suburban Chicago. Back to you in Indianapolis. Frank?
Thank you very much, Mike, and I don't think anyone could have said it better. We all know exactly what Jim McMahon said. It's the game, it's not the money that's involved. Okay, we'll be returning for the second half kickoff after news about an ABC show and then news from your local station.
Wednesday, Mike moves out.
Can I sit where Mike used to sit now that he's history?
Sure, why not?
Great. Please don't go fixing.
Growing pains. Then it's off to Russia for the ultimate field trip.
Do you know what a nerd is?
No.
A special hour-long head of the class. And
I'd opened up an entirely new and exciting chapter in my life as an adolescent.
it's the Emmy winner you just can't resist. Don't miss The Wonder Years, 3 great comedies, Wednesday.
This is a WRTV Channel 6 News update.
Good evening, everyone. The game safely underway now, but earlier tonight it was a rough ride to the Hoosier Dome for the Denver Broncos. On I-465 near 56th Street, the team bus and his police motorcade encountered a slow-moving car in the left lane. Sheriff's deputies say that the lead motorcycle officer signaled the car to move out of the way. Instead, though, it stopped. The motorcycle hit the car, and then the bus hit the motorcycle. Fortunately, though, no one was seriously hurt. Well, so far it has been a good night for local trick-or-treaters. Many parents and their hobgoblins took advantage of the free Halloween parties at local fire stations. Over the past 5 years, those parties have cut down on incidents of treat tampering. The last time that Indianapolis was on network television on a Halloween night was 25 years ago. That night, it was truly a nightmare come true. 77 people died in the explosion at the Coliseum. We'll take a look back tonight on the news. And you will see the end of a Halloween tradition. The city's favorite vampire is off the air. However, tonight, Sammy Terry is still out in his element. Well, no devilish signs out in our weather department, at least.
No, nothing really scary there. It'll be a little bit cool for the next couple of days, but then eventually we'll get a warming trend going later on this week. Now, you may have noticed around sunset this evening some clouds rolling in from the west. Well, take a look at that weather system as it moves right on through, just zipping along, so it won't affect our weather too much. Here's my forecast the rest of tonight. We'll see skies more or less clearing up later on tonight, and it will be getting cold down to about freezing early in the morning. Then during the day tomorrow, kind of a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Some of those clouds might have a few sprinkles, but no real problems.
And maybe a little hope for Indian summer later this week.
Right, 60s.
Okay, thank you, David. Well, the candidates have been at each other on the campaign trail. We'll tell you the latest exchange, and of course, we'll wrap up the best of tonight's treats from the Hoosier Dome. Join us for Channel 6 News after the second half of Monday Night Football. See you then.